Forget everything you have been told about success. Forget the motivational lies, the empty promises of positivity, the fantasy that the world rewards goodness alone. The universe you inhabit is a silent, relentless war, a war of influence, of resources, of will. And in this war, there are two types of people: the pawns, who react, and the princes, who design. This channel, Machiavellian Philosophy Wisdom, is your declaration of war on your own weakness. Today, we do not seek light. We master the dark, because power is not found in the light. Power is forged in the shadows, where the real mechanisms of control are hidden. You feel a hunger for real authority, not a title, but a profound, unquestionable command over your own destiny and the people in it. That hunger is your first weapon. I am here to give you the others. If you are ready to shed the skin of the pleasers, the followers, the seekers of permission, then lean in. You are about to learn the dark psychological architecture that, once built inside you, will make others not just listen, but obey. Not just respect, but fear. This is the way of the Machiavellian. This is your new genesis. You want the secret to being unquestionable. You want them to fear crossing you. This desire is not evil, it is primal. It is the recognition that in the jungle of human hierarchy, the predator eats and the prey is eaten. Niccolo Machiavelli did not invent this game. He was simply the first to write the manual for the winning side. To become unquestionable is to become a force of nature in human form. It is to build such a formidable fortress of psychological dominance that challenges die before they are even born in the minds of others. This is not a single trick, it is a complete operating system. Here are the 7 Machiavellian pillars. Internalize them, become them. Pillar 1, the cultivation of impenetrable reserve, the economy of self. The Machiavellian understands that mystery is power. What is known can be measured, predicted, and manipulated. What is hidden commands fear and speculation. You must become a black box. Your personal life, your fears, your joys, your vulnerabilities, these are state secrets. You are not the open book. You are the locked vault. In conversation, you listen 10 times more than you speak. Your silence is not empty, it is heavy. It presses down on the room, forcing others to fill the void, to reveal themselves. Machiavelli's prince was advised to keep his true intentions veiled, to act as the fox. When you reveal nothing, you give your enemies no weapon, and you give observers a blank screen onto which they project their own fears and assumptions. They will imagine you are more dangerous, more intelligent, more connected than you may be. Let them. Your scarcity of words makes each one you do utter a valuable coin. Spend them wisely. Pillar 2, the conquest of internal chaos, the emotional void. This is the core of dark psychology. Every human around you is a puppet dangling on strings of emotion: pride, anger, jealousy, love, need for validation. The Machiavellian is the one who cuts his own strings. He observes emotions in others as a mechanic observes a faulty engine, as data, as a point of leverage. Your face becomes a mask of calm. Your heart rate remains steady during conflict. When insulted, you might even offer a faint, cold smile, not of amusement, but of clinical interest. Why did they choose that weak tactic? What does their anger reveal about their insecurity? You turn their emotional outbursts into a textbook from which you learn how to control them. Machiavelli wrote that a leader must have a spirit adaptable to the times. Sometimes showing anger is strategic, but never because you are actually controlled by it. You must create an inner void, an emotional desert, so that the storms of others mean nothing to you. In that void, your logic reigns supreme. Pillar 3. Strategic anticipation. Playing chess while they play checkers. The average person lives reactively. The Machiavellian lives 3 moves ahead. This is predictive psychology. You study patterns. You map the desires, fears, and pride of every key person in your environment. You then engineer situations where their predictable actions serve your goal. A Machiavellian historical example. Cesare Borgia, whom Machiavelli admired, conquered a region and placed a cruel governor in charge to pacify it through fear. Once the governor had done the dirty work and made himself hated, Borgia had him executed in the public square, appearing as a just liberator. Borgia used the governor as a disposable tool, anticipating both his effectiveness and his eventual sacrifice. In your life, you might anticipate a rival's greed and let him claim a victory that is actually a poisoned chalice, a project doomed to fail. You see the social maneuver of a competitor and subtly reinforce it, letting him walk off a cliff of his own construction. When you consistently predict outcomes, you appear to control fate itself. People will not question the currents of the river, they will question the one who built the dam. Pillar 4. The Doctrine of Irreversible Action. The finality of the decree. Talk is the echo of the weak. Action is the voice of kings. A Machiavellian does not make threats, he makes examples. His psychology is built on the principle of overwhelming, decisive, and often final response to transgression. You do not argue with a dissenter, you remove his platform. You do not complain about a disloyal ally, you cut off his access and let him wither. The action must be calm, calculated, and utterly disproportionate to the emotional heat of the moment. It must be a policy, not a tantrum. Machiavelli stated it plainly. Injuries must be done all at once, so their bitterness is tasted briefly and then forgotten. Benefits should be granted little by little, so they are savored longer. One swift, crushing action to settle a score teaches everyone in your orbit the immutable law of your will. It creates a legend. It saves you from having to fight 1,000 small battles. Let your actions write the rules on the wall in a language everyone understands. Consequence. Pillar 5. The engineering of reputation. Becoming a myth. You are not a person. You are a story, and you must become the author of that story. Your reputation is your most potent psychological weapon, and it must be cultivated with the care of a master gardener. It must have 2 faces, like the ancient Roman god Janus. One face, fiercely loyal to allies, strategically generous, a font of immense value to those who serve your interests. The other face, cold, ruthless, and terrifyingly effective in destroying obstacles. Let anecdotes circulate, not boasts from your lips, but observable facts and results. People should know, without you saying a word, that crossing you is the last mistake they will make in your sphere, and that earning your favor is the key to their own advancement. Become the fox and the lion. The fox to avoid traps, to navigate complex social webs with cunning. The lion to inspire a deep, primal fear that makes others think twice before challenging you. Your name itself should be a deterrent. Pillar 6. The Fortress of Internal Sovereignty. You are the only court that matters. The Machiavellian's ultimate power source is within. He has divorced his sense of self-worth, his morality, and his decisions from the applause or hisses of the crowd. He judges himself by his own code, which has one supreme law. Does this serve my long-term power and purpose? He is unmoved by flattery, for he sees the manipulative hook inside it. He is indifferent to criticism, for he has already conducted a harsher audit of himself. This absolute internal sovereignty makes you psychologically bulletproof. No one can guilt-trip you, shame you, or inflate your ego, because you are the sole judge in your own court. When people realize their emotional and social weapons have no effect on you, they are disarmed. You stand as a monolith in a sea of shifting sand. This is the essence of being unquestionable. You do not seek anyone's question or permission in the first place. Pillar 7. The calculus of control. Master of the currencies. In the Machiavellian worldview, everything is a currency: money, information, affection, loyalty, fear, opportunity. You must become the central bank. You identify what each person in your orbit values most, their currency. Is it validation? Is it access to resources? Is it protection? You then control the flow of that currency. You dispense it not as a gift, but as a calculated investment. You are generous with opportunities to your lieutenant, binding him closer. You withhold information from a rival, leaving him weak. You provide a moment of recognition to a follower, securing his loyalty. And you can freeze the accounts of anyone who betrays you. This makes you indispensable. When you control the supply of what people psychologically or materially need to thrive, you control their behavior. They are not obeying you out of love or fear alone. They are obeying because you are the architect of their reality. You have made your will synonymous with their self-interest. This is the blueprint. The Machiavellian path is not a hobby. It is a total commitment to viewing reality without the filters of sentimentality. It is the understanding that to be good at the game, you must first accept that the game exists and that its rules are written in power, not virtue. You now hold the 7 pillars. This knowledge is not for the timid. It is for the architect, the strategist, the one who looks at the chessboard of life and sees not pieces, but potentials for control. This transformation begins in the mind. It begins the next time you choose silence over explanation, the next time you meet chaos with ice in your veins, the next time you act decisively and finally to secure your territory. This is Machiavellian philosophy wisdom. We do not deal in dreams, we deal in the machinery of power. If your will is aligned with this truth, then your education has just begun. Subscribe. The next layer of the art awaits. The dark psychology of reading and manipulating people without them ever knowing. The pawns will scroll away. The future princes, they are already here, watching, learning, and preparing to build their own kingdoms from the ground up. Remember, it is far safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Choose safety, choose power, choose to become unquestionable.